Hey everyone, Simon Says Money here. Welcome back to another video. Currently I'm in the Texas, Austin area, so we are experiencing some pretty icy and snowy conditions. But here's another video. Today I'll be presenting some stocks that are pretty hot recently. They are in the cannabis section. Before we get onto this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor or CPA. Please do your own research, decision, and this is for education and entertainment purposes only. Now let's get on to this video. This project.538.com shows the polls of the recent presidential general election. We can see that around the March, April of 2020 area, that Joe Biden was in the lead to Trump. Joe Biden would then win the presidential election. Also, we could see that Georgia was a significant state since the Democrats won the Georgia runoff election for the 2 Senate seats, which resulted Democrats in having the majority at the Senate. This would lead Joe Biden to have more leverage to pass the legislatures that Democrats want to pass, such as green energy, on which I'll be presenting in another video, and marijuana that I am going to talk about here. In this article posted November 17, 2020, Biden's marijuana decriminalization plan is not enough, Cory Booker says in new documentary. So this article just was saying that we need more decriminalization for this plan. In an Esquire.com article posted on January 22nd, 2021, Joe Biden could decriminalize weed in 2021. Legalizing it is a different story. What is Biden's stance on legal weed? Many of Biden's policy positions poked to the left by more liberal contenders. The latest developments are more promising. And while the legal weed industry is exploding in some states, in others they are blocking from profiting off it, even though they were locked up at a radically disproportional rates for decades because of it. For the record, that industry is very white and VC-centric right now. That's not great. Will weed be legalized under Biden? Maybe. He'd already promised on the marijuana front until he was dealt with some cold, hard, convincing science on its health effects. Okay, Biden's win on presidential made the policy on marijuana clear, the decriminalization of marijuana use, which led to a significant surge of all stocks related to weed. Virginia legislation appears imminent, which will bring the number of recreational pot states to 16, which further led investors to believe that business in marijuana will be booming. After the Wall Street bets GME and AMC movement, some of the capitals need to go somewhere. For example, policy, the decriminalization of marijuana, the company size, more focused on the small cap, and cash, the inflow of capitals, and social media riding the wave. And most of the marijuana companies are usually small due to federal regulation during the last couple years. Their market caps are usually small, up to $1 billion. Because of all of these factors, decriminalization of marijuana, small caps, inflow of capitals, and the most important factor, social media, make the stocks of marijuana-related stocks extremely hot. So let's ride the wave as well before we move to the next wave. Here I list all of the stocks related to marijuana. We have the ticker symbol, the company, and the percent return. The first column is the return in the past week, and then the past month, 3 months, and 12 months. We have OGI, HEXO, NBEV, APHA, CGC, Tilray, ACB, SNDL. I'll talk about the sundial growers in the next slides. GWPH, Jazz Pharmaceutical, the ticker symbol JAZZ, said it would acquire GWPH for $7.2 billion, the biggest pot deal to date. CURLF, the biggest footprint, $11 billion. TCNNF, Florida's weed leader. GTBIF, $8.4 billion, Midwest leader. CRLBF, $5.4 billion, Midwest leader. IIPR, Real Estate Investment Trust, buys properties and leases to the cannabis sellers. And here's the rest of the list for your data. The S&P 500 returned 1.6% the last week, and then 2.6% the last month, 10.1% the past 3 months, and 17.5% the past year. So you can look at the rate of return of these stocks compared to the S&P 500, which is dramatic. SNDL, recently extremely hot. Here are some Facebook and Twitter posts that I found Sundial's growers wild ride. Hello everyone, Sundial did it. SNDL passed its 10 consecutive days of over $1, and I think we might be forming a new support zone. I made a video on my thoughts for the stock market movement and what to look out for next week. I hope you find it helpful. Trade safe, and feedback is always recommended. If you don't know which stock to pick and you really want to participate in this movement of marijuana, the weed ETF area might be a good idea. It also gives a decent return during the last week or month. Here's the list of the major holdings of the marijuana ETF. You can see that it's composed of most of the stocks I was presenting in the previous slide. For example, APHA, Tilray, TLRY, and so on. And some of these ETFs you can play with, which I believe have relatively less risk than those individual stocks. Okay, I believe that it's time to play a bit on marijuana stocks because the above factors: number 1, policy; number 2, capital; number 3, social media; and number 4, these companies are still small. But still remember, there are huge amounts of risks that are involved. These are still relatively small companies, so the risk is higher than the risks from a regular stock. But the returns could be high. Much higher than a regular stock. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Comment below if you are in this weed stocks ETF and let me know your thoughts about it. They've been pretty hot in the past week. I know crazy gains for companies last week, and we should see what is going on in the weed sector for the upcoming days, the trading days, and see what happens. So again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.